Good morning. This is pandemic quarantine check-in. I think it's 15. So it's approaching the middle of August in 2020. And I have a list. I wrote a list. Oh, so the Sturgis rally went on as planned. And so that's like a really big gathering. One of the first ones I've heard of that didn't cancel. So everybody's wondering, are a bunch of those people going to come back with coronavirus? I guess time will tell. This whole Ghislaine Maxwell thing is crazy. It's crazy. So when I first started talking about coronavirus, I mentioned some of the conspiracy theories, and the child sex trafficking was one of the biggest ones. And that they said that the tents in New York City weren't really for coronavirus. They had secret tunnels taking the children back to wherever they belonged, blah, blah, blah. Well, now, so Ghislaine Maxwell is in jail right now, and she just released a list of names, famous Hollywood people who went to this island where people were having sex with underage girls, and I think maybe boys. So this whole thing about Hollywood is coming out right now, that Hollywood is filled with a bunch of pedophiles, including people in politics. But the crazy thing is that it's no longer conspiracy. It's really happening. Like, this lady really is dropping names, and it's not just crazy conspiracy theorists saying it. It's so all these shows are getting canceled. And so Ellen DeGeneres is having the worst couple of weeks ever. She all of her employees, this is a little bit, the only reason why I mention her now is because I think her name was dropped in Ghislaine Maxwell's list. Ghislaine Maxwell was Jeffrey Epstein's sidekick. And I read this book years ago about this has been known for a really long time, that she would bring young girls in and he just got all these massages and sexually, did different things to them. So she was like the woman that made the children or young girls feel safe, so they would want to come in and work there. They probably got paid well. But anyway, a bunch of employees at Ellen DeGeneres's who worked for Ellen are coming out saying it was a toxic work environment. And some of it sounds really not that bad, but there is an awful lot of people coming out saying that. So then also she is repeatedly, like, she always looked so young. She's 60 at least. And they're saying that she is starting to look older because she can't get her adrenochrome. So adrenochrome is another conspiracy theory that says that, and it sounds far-fetched, but that's what's weird about right now, is all these things that always seemed far-fetched are coming into the light to being true, like the Navy saying that they've been seeing unidentified flying objects, and they're starting to really look into it. So we're having reputable sources coming out and saying, yeah, this is a thing. So the adrenochrome supposedly comes only from a human body that's under high stress. So the theory is that children are being tortured and the adrenochrome is pulled out of their body while they're being tortured. And then Hollywood famous people take it, and it's like the biggest high of all time. And then it keeps them young and like superhuman. And it is also tied in with the Illuminati. So I went down this rabbit hole last night. And another thing that kept showing up is that Hollywood people and famous people and presidents and the Pope showing up with black eyes, one black eye, and that is part of the Illuminati ceremony. I don't know what this has to do with coronavirus anymore. I don't think it has anything to do with it anymore. But in the beginning, especially Trump supporters were saying he's, because he's implicated with Ghislaine Maxwell as well, that he went to that island. But then Trump supporters will say, well, he was working undercover and that's why he went. Or they'd say, well, it's kind of like when you see those mafia movies. Well, if he doesn't engage and, do things with them, they won't believe he's real. So, maybe Trump needed to molest children or his cover would be blown. That's just something I've been hearing as a defense. So the original conspiracy was that one day coronavirus would just go away, and that it's really a cover up to break down the fact that all the people in power have been sex trafficking children. So, and then there's 4 people who were doing documentaries on sex trafficking who have committed suicide. So, I mean, these are real facts, which is interesting. I guess it's interesting. It's kind of awful. So yeah, I was watching a Patton Oswalt special, who I love, and he was saying how everyone was saying, oh my God, as a comedian, having, Trump be the president must be great material. And he's like, you don't need material. It's not great material because reality is so entertaining. It's like, hold my popcorn. I'm just going to watch the news. Who needs comedy? It's right there. There's also the anti-maskers. Oh, let me finish with Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was a child actor and claimed to be molested in Hollywood as a child actor by all these people. And he has been trying to talk about it for years, and but didn't want to name names. And now, honestly, I can see why. It seems like people who name names get suicided. So he put out a documentary, which I'm going to try and find. But anyway, it's just crazy. I mean, it's coming out in the real news. It's just crazy. I don't have an opinion about it. I'm just saying what I've been looking into. So anyway, so the Hollywood people aren't looking as good anymore because they can't get their hands on any adrenochrome right now because of coronavirus. That's the other theory. The census is going on. The census, they're trying to get a head count. There's a lot of drama about how people are going to vote. Paper ballots, the census, we are knocking on doors. They are knocking on doors and trying to get people who didn't fill out the paper, which of course you don't do when you vote. So that's drama because the voting is coming up in November. And I guess they just passed another financial thing because the $600 a week extra for unemployment ended. So now I guess one for $400 extra passed, but the state has to cover 25% of it. So that's interesting. I mean, like I said, I've said this every time. I have too many jobs now. There's work out there if you want it. School is starting. People don't know what to think about that. Can't even get adults to keep their masks on. Not even sure if masks work. I wear them. It's not that big of a deal, but how do you keep kids to keep those masks on when adults are always like pulling them down or putting them under their nose? I guess we'll find out. I did see today that Russia came up with the first vaccine. So we'll see how that goes. I guess they've been testing it for 2 months. That would be great. I guess. I don't know. Um, what else? Oh, on a personal note, I guess I'm probably never going to get another one of my Chinese massages. We had this, they called it Chinese massage parlor. It was fantastic. It was only $28 an hour. It was these big recliners. I've written a lot about it because it's always so funny. Um, they didn't really know English, but they would just pummel you into feeling great. Like it was, oh, these massages were great. And so, but they were all in one room with reclining chairs. That's never going to happen again. It was already a total germ fest. Like it was getting disgusting. At first, when they first opened, like it was all clean and new and everything. And then, after 4 or 5 years, it's like, they don't even really put sheets down. And I don't know. It was getting a little rough, but you'd go anyway because like it felt good. That $28 plus tip, you could just drop in. I made appointments ahead of time. You could request your person, and I just haven't had a real good massage in a long time. But those are obviously, upper. What do they call that? It's not really a problem, is what they call it. It's just, I don't know, something I miss. Anyway, I guess this was a little heavy, but it's interesting and it's happening in real life. So, we don't know what's going to go on. Numbers are going up for coronavirus. People are getting it. The world is moving on. There's more traffic. Not that many planes. I actually saw a plane in the sky last week and thought it was a pelican. I live in the Midwest. We don't have pelicans, but they had them when I lived in Florida. That's how few planes are out there. When I saw something so big, pelicans are huge because they get really close to you. So, yeah, they're interesting. They're weird. I don't know what's going to happen, but okay. Bye.